Right. They've changed it. The screen's a lot smaller into like enlarge. Hello, Rosemary. Good evening. And so, do you want to draw freehand or do you want to trace it? How are you feeling?
How can I trace it with this thick paper?
We have this. It's like carbon paper,
The carbon paper.
but it's
okay.
graphite.
So it works like a
It's like a pencil.
pencil.
Yeah. Decisions.
It's probably quicker to trace it.
It is. It is.
Yes.
But, you know.
I don't know. You're the teacher. You
Well,
suggest
I'd say
trace it. Yeah.
so that goes down, that on top, and then just draw your bits that you want to keep. My house has gone very faded. It must be that.
So we do the house,
The building's the moat. I mean, I've just given myself a dotted line to know where some of the other things are. Hello, Rosemary. But I've tried to keep it fairly flexible. Especially with the foliage and stuff. I'd posted up Willie Lott's cottage because it looks almost identical without the gate. You know what I mean? With Willie Lott's cottage in Constable, from a different angle. It's just an old building, look, you know.
Oh yeah.
It's got a look of it
Yeah.
with the moat.
It has.
And I was scrolling through and I just posted that one when I really needed to post this one. But never mind.
Where is this one?
It's called Brockhampton and it's a National Trust property in Herefordshire. It's beautiful.
It looks beautiful.
And there's a ruined church on the little island that the manor house is on as well. There's nothing left of it really apart from a couple of walls. But the gatehouse and the little manor hall is all in, and you can visit it with National Trust. It's been a long time since I've been, about 10, 12 years. I know I went while I was married, so it's got to be about 13 years or more since I went. Time flies, doesn't it? I had a lovely time in Lampeter for the weekend. It was gorgeous.
It went well, did it?
Really, really well.
Good.
She looked absolutely gorgeous. My cousin, well, first cousin. And it was just nice to spend time with a part of my family that I only ever normally see at funerals. So it was nice to have like time with them.
Yeah.
And then I was singing as well, so that was nice. None of them knew I could sing, apart from my cousin, who follows me on YouTube, I think.
Did it take you long to get there?
4 hours.
No.
But you know what? I only stopped on the way back. I didn't bother stopping at all. It always seems quicker on the way back, doesn't it?
It does.
But on the way there, because I left at 6 in the morning, I was just desperate for the loo. About halfway there, and I thought I can't make. So I checked the times that I could, and I managed to get there to check in at the B&B, and then get to the chapel with time to spare. So that was good.
That was good. Was it a morning service?
Well, lunchtime, 12 o'clock.
Oh right.
But the vicar wanted everybody in by 11:30.
Right.
Even though it didn't, I don't think the actual ceremony started until much later.
That's quite interesting. What happens if someone is late for, any reason?
I know. Well, I don't know. I mean, I think everybody was all there well in time. I think I was one of the. I think some people travelled from Essex, but they all travelled up the day before.
Mm-hmm.
But because I was teaching on Friday night, I couldn't.
Well, not everybody doesn't work on Friday evenings, so yeah.
Yeah. But it was lovely. I haven't put the bird song on, have I? Let's get that on.
So when you've done across between the two buildings, is that the edge of the lawn? Or
Yeah, that's the top of the lawn. Yeah, that line,
one, yeah,
that one.
top of the lawn.
Yeah, where the bright green goes to bushes or something.
Yeah.
So I was up on the dance floor most of the night with my 82-year-old uncle, showing him how it was done.
What do you think 82 on the dance floor is good?
Oh, he's got so much energy, honestly. The first dance was Peter Andre, Mysterious Girl. And like he lost my aunt died earlier this year, so that's my uncle's wife, and my other aunt lost her husband about 10 years ago, and she's 83. So my uncle grabbed my aunt and dragged her on the dance floor to dance to Peter Andre with a lot of energy. It was lovely. Food was gorgeous, the views were just amazing. It was in a hotel, the reception, overlooking all the hills, and it was just stunning.
Are you going to have that big tree in front of the
I am. Yeah, I've kind of left a hole for it. I like it,
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
but I'm conscious that it will either become too focus, or will merge into the colour of the roof tiles because it's very similar.
It's the same colour here.
Yeah.
The pink ones are flowers, right?
What's that?
I mean, this the tree.
I don't know what it is. I think it's sort of like a maple or something, where it's got
Yeah,
more pinky leaves or something.
That's what I was thinking. It could be
Yeah.
flowers or leaves. But then
Yeah.
Let's make a little Burnham note. We're blending into anything.
Yellow.
yeah, we could change the season.
We could do anything
That's
we
what I
want.
was
It's
thinking.
our world.
If they are not the permanent color of the leaves.
Exactly. You could do what you like. Let's see what it looks. I'm sure I've got some photos. I've seen.
Friend sent me the pathway up to Bodycut Windmill today. I think they were walking the dog, and the path's absolutely lined with laburnum, isn't it?
Oh, nice.
Absolutely gorgeous. Oh, you've got a slopy roof there, haven't you?
It is a rusty coloured bush. No matter what year, although that's it.
There are some trees which have
that leaves on
Yeah.
the ground. So
It's weird because that's it. Look, in a similar season, and that's the same bush.
yeah, it's
So this must be later summer. Do you think?
yeah.
Would you say that's later summer from the foliage? Because it's richer and deeper, isn't it?
Very green.
Yeah, and whereas this photo is quite lemony. Let's see if I can find another one.
So this might be spring. This one that we.
See, this is either early spring or autumn, and it's got hardly any leaves on it at all. It's just a funny. So I've no idea. I don't know what it is. It's just a bush. You can do it whatever colour you like. You can say it was from like 300 years ago.
Sometimes I think about these buildings that are, old, ancient,
Yeah.
and they are national trust or grade 2, and if you look at the buildings that we are putting up now,
Will they last?
which ones are going to be listed
Yeah,
or
I know, that's
which one
interesting,
will
isn't it?
last?
Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
But also some of these are lasting because we maintain them, because
Yeah,
we
yeah.
think they are beautiful. So it's not just about will they last. Are we building anything that is beautiful enough for the people?
That's very true, actually,
Yeah.
Sarah.
People
Yeah.
who follow to say, oh, that's beautiful, we have to keep it.
I can't think of anything
Actually, no,
locally.
off the top of my head, no,
I
can't
don't think the
either.
light cinema will
No.
stand the test of time.
That's
It's too industrial. Yeah, there's nothing. We're not making beautiful things
no,
anymore.
what about the hotel?
Well,
Oh my
it looks like a prison, that
Oh,
hotel.
it's dreadful,
The
isn't
hotel.
it?
It's
Really
not in
isn't.
keeping. I mean, I know like Castle Key's been built-ish like a castle with turrets and crenellations, but they didn't make it. They could have made that look slightly better.
Yeah.
But yeah, that the Premier Inn looks awful,
It does.
and the light's very modern, which I know the vibe that they're going for.
Yeah, but it's not in line with everything
Yeah,
else
do you
that's
know?
around.
You're right. I can't think of anything locally new.
No, if you think of all the housing estates going up and round and about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
the
nothing
houses
that's
sound
like
the same.
beautiful.
No.
There is no individuality. So
No.
the idea that in the future someone will want to preserve 300 houses that all look the same.
Well, yeah. It's fascinating, isn't it? But what is also interesting is that in Badby, further up, you've got the old hunting lodge, the Dower House, which is a pile of ruins, and that's a scheduled ancient monument and the first brick built building in the country. Yet that's hardly anything left of it. That's not been maintained.
Right.
Yeah.
So you'd think something so specifically, of historical interest, plus it's a link to Henry VIII, and it was his hunting lodge. You'd think that would have been looked after more,
Yeah.
wouldn't you?
We would.
But you're right that our history is based on old buildings of, I suppose, from the Victorian down, isn't it? Really, I think. Did we stop after the? Did the war stop? The First and Second World War, did that stop us building great things? Because like after the Second World War, we just chuck things up to get it
Yes.
functioning again, didn't we? And we kind of haven't lost that mindset, have we? Because we
Well-
throw housing estates up, we throw everything up without the thought of the lasting impact of them.
There are a few things in London which when I was living there, for example, I once found, I was in my GP office and I found a petition and I signed because the mayor at the time, I don't remember who it wasn't worse, they wanted to destroy Earth's Court, which is beautiful,
Oh gosh, okay.
and make it glass and modern and so on. So they are not protected. I was very surprised to see that people had to put their feet
Yeah.
down and say no. there is no law to protect
No.
that kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, locally, we lost some beautiful buildings in the 60s, didn't we, in this street? And the night a preservation order was due to go. I think it was on the Monday morning there was due to be a preservation order, and they knocked it down over the weekend in the under night, didn't they? Under the fall of night.
Of course, they did that even on the corner.
Oh, those flats, people's yeah, because there was a lovely old house at the back that Jackie told me about.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, it's not safe.
That's more recent too.
So how does it work? Is someone deciding who decides what needs to?
No, I don't know if that's for me or if that's for Lou.
I'm not pressing enough, and so I can barely see what I'm drawing.
She wasn't sure what she was doing, so she just pressed any doorbell, which is fine. How you doing, Rosemary? Ooh. But it is very constable-ish, isn't it, this scene?
Got me thinking there now about any places I can think of.
That's, yeah, post-war.
Individual things, won't it, that people have created themselves, I think.
Yes.
That's what it would be. People who build their own house and want it done in a specific way.
Yeah.
But probably harking back to us.
Yes.
Have we got a style currently? What is the Carolian style of building? No, yeah.
In the past, also, probably up to the war, there was, futurism and there were movements.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
were both in literature and in art.
Yeah.
And we lost that.
We talk about that in art history, don't we? That we haven't what is now, because if we call it modern art, the modern art that we know is 100 years old now, at least.
And
contemporary art.
Funnily enough, if you think about music went to have things that, for example, the grunge is like 1990s.
Yeah,
So
that's true. House, garage, grunge.
Yeah.
What?
But we didn't see the same in the figurative arts
No.
and in literature for some reason. I don't know. In the past, it was all the same,
Yeah.
And sometimes they had the same movement, music.
Yeah, that's
literature,
right.
and
Yeah.
art going at the same time.
Yeah, that's really
Ideology
weird,
and so on.
isn't it?
I don't know if it's the war, like you say, because World War II was a big thing for Europe.
Yeah, it could well be. I mean, it does seem to have made. You got us thinking now, Sarah.
Yeah, I'm going to be looking even more carefully to see if I can spot anything. Because really, the sort of old village cottages are the last interesting buildings, aren't they?
Yeah.
The ones that haven't been refurbished. But there's nothing since then. And like you say, they had to throw things up after the war to house people.
Yeah, absolutely. You got your prefabs and all of that, but almost modern housing estates are a bit like that. I mean, I follow a site guy on social media, and his job is to go around looking for faults on the new builds.
Right.
And some of the things he said, how these are getting past, the way that they just glue something on rather than cement it, and weep vents in the wall. They don't actually put them in. They just scrape a little bit of cement out and cut one up and stick it on so it looks like there's a weep vent. So he has to go check in all the weep vents to make sure that they've all been done before he signs it off. And there's broken things that they've just glued together, and it's really shoddy.
I do know somebody who moved into a new house, and within no time things were going wrong. I wouldn't want to buy one, and those that they built up by us, heading towards Bloxham, the the cost of them, you've got no garden,
No.
and if you've got all these faults appearing within a year or two, no. I mean, they
No.
start at 350,000. Those.
It's not really a starter home, is it? Because who can afford that, really?
Well, exactly. I mean, they're not.
No.
I haven't seen anything on those estates that was between our road and heading towards Bloxham that way and Bodycote that way. I
Yeah.
haven't seen anything advertised at under 350,000.
No. It's crazy,
And it's
isn't it?
up from there. And you think you've got no garden.
No. Rosemary says what she said. There seems to be very little respect for anything these days, and it shows in what is being built. Yeah, it is. Just throw them up. It's. I think we're in that big sort of corporate greed mindset, aren't we? Where it's just money, 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 and we're not taking care with anything. And yeah, we're not building. I don't think we're building with a view of lasting either. Like, I mean, we're not making things with a view of them lasting. I mean, how long could an old fridge or washing machine last? You know, decades.
Yeah.
Now you get a year's warranty. You're lucky, you know.
No, it's true.
Mm.
My friend's parents, I remember her mum's oven that she'd had for donkey's years.
Yeah, you could. I mean, we had a washing machine for 25 years.
Yeah. But
The old
now
twin
it's
tub.
really-
Kettles are gone in no time, aren't they? Especially here with the hard
Here,
water.
what's really well, my kettle that I've got at home is my old classroom kettle from my hometown that we bought from Wilco's
Really?
in 2000 and 1999, and I'm still using that kettle and I use it every day.
Wow. How are you managing that?
No idea. I do use filtered water, so maybe
Well, we
That's
use filtered water,
Yeah.
and it still eventually
goes.
starts
Yeah,
to
yeah.
build
I don't
up.
know. There's something magical about this kettle. I'm shocked every day that it still works. Because I mean that's long for a plastic. I mean it's only a plastic kettle.
Give it a little pat and
I
say well
do.
done every so often.
Because it is literally one of the. Because it's the cheapest plasticky kettle. Because it was just for the big classroom.
Yeah.
We got the little mugs, which I've still got a chunk of. I never use them though. Because they're not very big. They're only small size mugs. And that kettle. And I when Paperway closed, I bought the kettle here to Paperway, and then I moved from Paperway to here with that kettle, and now I've got it at home.
Wow.
It's crazy, isn't it? So yeah, all my other kettles, the kettles here don't last at all.
No.
Although we got a Morphy Richards fast boil, and that seems to work because the water's not in long enough. If you only fill it, you know, the first mug size, I suppose, the first cup one, it boils within less than a minute. So the water's in and
In and
out.
again, yeah.
Mind you saying that for the B&B last night, because I got in on the bed and breakfast I booked. Obviously, I was at the he was in the town, and I was in the hotel at the for the function, and I didn't get a taxi because it didn't look that far. It's a 15-minute walk by the full moon, because their driveway is about 1.5 miles long. I got into the hotel, into the B&B for about, I don't know, 10 past midnight. So I just went straight to bed, woke up in the morning, and I had a late breakfast. Took me 20 minutes to work out how to get a cup of tea, because they were like, I'm not modern, and there was a coffee thing with pods, which I don't know how to work, and I wanted a cup of tea, and I thought, well, where's the kettle? It wasn't a kettle. It was like a thing with water in it, and then you have to press it, and it boiled it within the thing, and then squirted it out. Well, I didn't know what to do. There was no well, there might have been instructions, but I wouldn't have read them anyway. I just thought, well, how weird. I just wanted to. I was expecting like a little travel kettle.
Yes, yeah.
So
Well,
that's quite
interesting.
quite
That's all the
swish.
B&Bs will go that way.
Yeah, I'm glad I don't like coffee, because I couldn't have worked. I wouldn't have known. Just a jar of Nescafe or something is my thing. And I had a nice, well, I would say a full Welsh breakfast. It wasn't full Welsh because I said no to the cockles and I had baked beans instead. But I did have some nice lava bread that they make on site. They get the seaweed tinned and then they mix it with the oats and whatever else and then fry it up. That was nice with some bacon and sausage and.
I saw a programme about Yorkshire and how they're, I forget whereabouts on the coast, but they're setting up a seaweed farm out at sea.
Oh wow.
At the moment they only sort of harvest by hand, but they use it for all sorts, not just for humans but in animal food,
Yeah.
cosmetics, all sorts of things.
It's supposed to be good for you, isn't it,
Yeah,
seaweed?
so they're like the Japanese have done, they're stringing it out and
That's interesting,
it's
isn't
on
it?
Kate Humble's coastal walk.
Okay, humble.
I've just discovered it. I don't know when it happened, but I've just discovered it on.
Well, Robert in art class was telling me that Springwatch, they've got one of these places in North Wales. One of the cameras and things is in North Wales in something powder. It was a munitions thing, and they've turned it into a. Where did he say it was? Because that's near. Do you remember I went away for 2 or 3 days to trial out Linda, who's not here tonight?
Yeah.
Her cottage. It was right. It's like Penryn Dryeth or something like that, near Portmeirion and all of that. So there's a nature reserve there. Gwaith Powder or something. Gwaith Powder Wildlife Trust. So yeah, that's where Springwatch is partly from.
I don't know how old this programme is. It's on BBC iPlayer, I think.
Might have to check that out.
No, it can't. No, it's Netflix. It's
Oh, I've got Netflix.
Yeah, it's Netflix because I watch it on my tablet and I can't get anything other than Netflix on there. It's been really, and she's doing the coastal walks. I thought she was just doing the southwest.
Yeah.
But she's doing them all over the place. Suffolk.
Oh, okay.
Yorkshire. She's done 2 different ones in Yorkshire. Really fascinating.
That's nice. Right, I'm going to get the sky on, I think, just so we can get a bit of paint. Big brush.
Are we ignoring the trees at the moment?
Yeah, we'll forget they exist for now.
Okay.
So I'll paint as if they're not there, because the trees can go over the sky, no problem. So my big brush, a lot of water.
Which colour do you put?
Right, I'm just water at the minute.
This water with a big brush.
Big brush.
I need a tape, right? It's best if I use a tape.
Yeah, tape it down, because otherwise you'll get a cockled edge. And I think I'll mix the 2 blues together. And let it drop in and spread. We had 2 bits of excitement at the wedding. The silk flower arrangement on the top table caught fire. So that was, but nobody else noticed. Our table was right by it, and we saw it go up. And then the bridesmaid just chucked one of the jugs of water over it, and that was fine. And then during the meal, a nuthatch flew in through the window, and it was just flying around. And then the same bridesmaid ended up catching him and took him outside.
Oh gosh! So you had one very brave bridesmaid.
Yeah, I think she likes animals, so it was fine for her. I mean, she was up like a shot without a second thought. The hotel staff didn't really know what to do. She was just there. Proper Welsh name she was as well, Rhiannon. I mean, you can't get any more Welsh than Rhiannon, the one of the Welsh deities. And then I'm going to add a little bit of red to some of that blue to make it a sort of purple grey, to just throw in a bit of shadow in the clouds, but we don't want to go too much. I had an incident with my music setup. The 4-hour drive there had somehow cracked my tablet that I use with all my tracks on. And an iPad would be fine with a broken screen, but a Surface will not work. It was not touch responsive. I asked the hotel if I could use their mouse just to try it, and the screen was fine, but with the cracked bit on top, the digital keyboard wouldn't come up, so I couldn't do anything. So I had to change where I was singing. I was supposed to be singing right outside, so I stood in the doorway so my mobile phone could pick up the hotel's Wi-Fi, and I sang in the doorway, linking my phone to the thing, so the bride never had a clue that there was nothing, that there was a problem.
Right, which is the best.
That's what it was about.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was an interesting evening.
My sister's getting married in October, so it will be interesting to see how the wedding goes.
Yeah. Where's she getting married?
Well, so she, I don't know if, because I haven't been to enough weddings in the UK. The tradition in Italy is that you get married in the town where the bride is from.
Oh, okay.
But they decided not to because our family isn't great, and because my brothers-in-law parents don't travel.
Right.
So they're getting married in Italy. My sister lives in Northern Italy with their soon-to-be husband, and it is not where they live or where he's from. They just picked a place, which is very unusual. At least people in the south of Italy never do this. You just have to be
there.
You just
Okay.
have to go where the bride is from. That's the thing.
We got married halfway because my wife was from North Wales and I'm from the West Midlands.
Mm-hmm.
So to save any one of our sides having to travel too far, we found somewhere halfway. So everybody only had to travel about an hour and a half,
Which is
rather than 2.5 hours.
fair, more than fair, but it's like, especially in the south of Italy. I don't know the north of Italy how they are, but like in the south of Italy, it's like that's the way you do it. You get married where the bride is from, and maybe people now are getting a bit less. They're trying not to respect this thing as much.
Yeah, less about the tradition.
Yeah, but I've seen people just being very, very specific with this thing. And so this is not going to be traditional at all. The only thing that my sister wanted to follow tradition is that she is keeping the dress a secret.
Ah, okay.
That's the only tradition, but the dress isn't white. So it's just for the dress being a secret. Everything else is not.
Oh, so it's going to be an interesting occasion then, isn't it?
Yeah. And
Sorry.
no family, at least none of my family is invited. This is really not a good.
Yeah, well, the wedding I was just at, I was only, not even all of the family was invited. And I think it was mainly down to numbers, and because I was on my own, because I haven't got kids or anything, it's just easier to invite a person on their own than who do I invite? Oh, I can't invite. If I invite them, I've got to invite them, and then, and then it becomes very, as I know, it's very expensive when you start doing that. Because I didn't. I said to my mum, who was very much, you don't forget, and I said, no, this is my day, and it's £40 a head or something, plus, we were putting half of the guests up overnight, and I said, I really want it to be who I want to be there, not because you feel that they should be there. And I said I can't afford to do all of those things. I'd like to, but I ain't got the budget. I mean, that was like nearly, well, 15 years ago, and that was like 12 grand it cost. But someone else I recently they wedding cost £20,000,
Yeah.
which is just extortionate.
Yeah,
I'm
but
gonna.
to be fair, my sister is getting is she can do this because my mom isn't here anymore. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been that easy.
No.
My dad is fine, but my mom would have wanted a big wedding, and
Right.
you have to send an invitation to the third cousin you don't even know.
Yeah, this is the thing, isn't it? I've just mixed up some lemon yellow with a bit of ultramarine to try and just. I don't want these trees to be anything exciting. But the good thing is the building's white, so we haven't got to do a lot with that. But the trees will hopefully bring the building forward. So if you kind of play around with the lemon and ultramarine mixes, I want it to be a little bit loose. It was funny actually, the route I took to get to Lampeter yesterday took me on old roads from when I was dating before I married my now ex-wife. So it was quite weird in a way. Travelling old roads that I'd forgotten existed. So because this pinky tree is lighter, I'm going to the one that we were discussing at the beginning, I'm going to leave space for it, because I don't know, I haven't decided what colour it's going to be yet. But if you're a bit apprehensive about certain parts of your building, this is where it's really good to throw in some of the darks, because it, like add a bit more ultramarine or something, because it really makes the colours pop and it will bring the building forward.
So you just dab in with the brush?
Yeah, just a bit of a sort of stipple. And the light's coming from the left. And if in your painting it's not coming from the left, that's fine, as long as you remember the direction that you're going to put it. I'm going to ignore the greenery in the foreground, because obviously I'll just work from the back, and I'm ignoring that building as well. Yeah, so where did I drive through? I went, didn't go on a single motorway or anything, and it took me to Stratford, the outskirts of Stratford, Evesham, Worcester, Hereford, Brecon. It was such, beautiful, and even at 6 o'clock in the morning, there was hardly any cars on the road, and the scenery was just wonderful, really gorgeous. Had to pass Hay on Wye, had to pass through that. Thankfully, at like 7 o'clock in the morning, there wasn't much going on at the festival. And then in Worcester, there was the Midlands Air Show. But again, I was too early for that. It was on in the afternoon yesterday as I was driving back, but the sat-nav thankfully took me a different way.
It's
Oh, I wouldn't have got where I did without the sat nav. I think that's that helped massively.
Which brush is best for the trees?
Well, I'm still using my big brush because it's a lot of water and a bit of point. But whatever you feel comfortable with, you might find the next size down a bit more helpful. But as I say, I just want to keep it quite loose. I'm feeling in a loose watercolour style today. I'm actually not going to do any more to it. Have you been to Brockhampton, Janet and Bill?
No, we haven't, have we?
No.
So many places to visit.
I know. We did them all in the ones that are sort of Herefordshire, Shropshire, and you know, because it's where we were from. And then we have done some, but I don't get a chance to go out now. Maybe I'll add a little bit of lemon yellow to some of the edges just to brighten them. I might actually even pop the grass in the background, which is lemon yellow. Oh, gone over that tree. With a little bit of the ultramarine. Because I'll just feel a bit better that there's something else on there. So the last film was played yesterday at the cinema.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
All the staff lined up either side for the last cinema goers as they left.
Really?
Yeah, that is sad.
Do you know what they're going to do with it?
No, it'll probably end up being flats, won't it?
Well, it would be a good thing to do with it. Get some.
I mean, a big proper theatre would be nice, but that ain't gonna happen, is it?
But affordable, perhaps flats for younger people.
Yeah, because there's nothing.
Those flats sort of by the cross are horrendous, aren't they?
Students couldn't afford to live anywhere, really. Mind you, to be honest, because I know my landlord, I couldn't afford to live in town. It's a lot more money for me. Even share a house share in the town centres, like £500-600 a month, and that's just for one room, and you're sharing everything else. That's crazy, isn't it?
It is.
It's not affordable. Do you know, technically, I'm looking at this, and really, since I've done that one bit of grass, I'm going to have to do the rest of the grass, which is really annoying because I hadn't planned on doing it, but I think I can't even use the excuse while I've got the colour because I'd run out, but we'll put it on.
What colour, sorry?
It's lemon yellow with a little bit of ultramarine.
I'm still doing the trees.
That's alright.
Very first trees. Which just don't look right.
They'll change as you put more paint on, I think.
The darker one.
The slightly brighter one. So on yours, I
Yeah,
think it's the...
This one.
Yes, it is that one.
But one is a bit of both because I'm trying to get different greens.
Yeah, that's fine. I can see me just covering everything green, including the bushes.
Yeah, because that was my train of thought. If I only use green, I mean it's green everywhere, I have to make it different.
Yeah, there's a lot of it. But actually that green is lighter than the roof. So I've decided to put, and if it's green I'm shoving it in. That's the plan. But yeah, you could definitely use cadmium yellow with ultramarine to get a darker green.
Yeah, I wanted to get darker green at a certain point now. I could only get one green. For some reason, I make it too blue.
Yeah, do you know what though? I do like a bluey green. I'm a bit of a sucker for a bluey green rather than a yellowy green.
See?
Because I mean it depends really on the tone. For when I want a dark green, I'll mix cadmium yellow and ultramarine, but I will add a lot of ultramarine into it.
So you do the shade with the the part of the trees which is very dark green.
Yeah.
Without any black.
Yeah, I mean what actually works really well, if you wanted it extremely dark, you can actually make a purple colour from the ultramarine and cadmium red, so that's an orangey red, and that gives you a lovely shadow colour in the foliage.
Okay. That's one of the things I find a bit I don't know, I need to work more with color theory.
It's hard to get your head round, it is. It's not you know. And everybody's got a different idea of colour theory nowadays, which is bizarre.
Have you seen the trend of mostly women? I don't know if there are guys who do it. They get a color analysis, and you are told which colors suit you.
Yes, my ex-wife had that done. Yeah, they end up with a...
I had it done as well, but I couldn't understand because it doesn't follow the traditional color theory.
No, it doesn't, and it's cause it's to do with your skin tone, isn't it?
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
is that where you wear like a white towel on your head and a
Yes,
white thing,
yeah.
and then they hold swatches up
And
to see which looks better?
and it was very, very confusing to me how people were getting I understand you're telling me which colors suit me and warm or
Yeah,
hot
whether
and
you're a
so on.
winter or a...
Yeah, but then yes, the seasons initially I couldn't understand why
No.
I studied those seasons. And also the other thing that I couldn't get my head around is because I'm olive, I'm always heard that I'm neutral. But then because I had my color analysis done, and the lady told me, no, you're not neutral, you're warm. And so I was like, what?
So what did she say you were? Are you a summer?
Oh, I'm autumn.
You're an autumn?
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm an autumn.
Yeah, but for you it's like because you have warm.
I'm
your
very
skin.
gingery.
Yeah, in my case I was.
I wouldn't have put you down as an autumn.
But then I found a lady online who explains it really well, and she says that substantially for olive skin, it's way more complicated. It's like you have to put the colors on top one by one, and the person I went to, she didn't tell me you are autumn. She just gave me colors. She
Yeah.
didn't give me a season, because when you have a skin color like mine, it starts depending on what you put on, you bring out green, which is
Right.
great.
Okay.
You don't want to
Interesting.
look green. You want to look human.
Well, that's kind of a good ideal, I think, to look human.
Yes. But when I'm unwell, or if I wear some colors, I do look green, which isn't not the look I want to go for.
No. I look almost transparent if I wear like beige. If I wear beige, it makes me look really washed out.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
the idea of when they tell you, oh, you should wear this color rather than that color.
Yeah.
Because depending on what you put on, you might look unwell, ill.
Yeah. You're getting warm, Janet.
Yeah. I'm surprised because when we came out, I was thinking, oh, it's cooler now than I expected.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all this hard work, Barry.
I know. This morning at Watercolour, it was really cold. I mean, I didn't find it warm at all, considering, like in Wales, there wasn't a cloud in the sky and it was really hot. And I presume it was like this here over the weekend.
Yesterday, we were up the allotment, weren't we? And we were just in t-shirt, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It was really hot. And then today, it's like, what are you doing?
I know, it's crazy, isn't it?
It is crazy. Mind you, we should be used to it, shouldn't we? I'm sure we have this conversation every year, don't we, in this country?
We do, it's what we like to talk about.
Every day.
Every day, absolutely, every day. We like to discuss the weather.
Well, it changes a lot.
It does, and then we're always shocked though. We're always shocked when it's... I'm sure it was warmer last year, or I'm sure it was cooler last year, or whatever.
Maybe we are shocked because we hope. Like
I think so.
Some nice weather, and you hope for it to last.
Yes. Yeah.
And so when it doesn't, you obviously are disappointed, and you want to talk about it. You want to share your disappointment with other people
I
who
get that.
understand.
I'm going to try this if I can do those bits of green. Everything takes off.
We had a lovely oil class on Friday night here. We did Barmouth Beach at sunset
All right.
with all the big grasses. Mine's still going to be really wet because it's oil.
I was going to ask you, Barry, they're not smelling anymore, are they?
These are water based, so they don't
look at
smell.
that. They're amazing.
I mean, is it? I'll just waft it near you.
Yeah. But not overwhelming. Oh no, that's
No, it's more like emulsion paint
Yes.
or gloss paint in a way. It's
Yeah.
not, but it's water based. So
only I've got myself down for at least one next.
yeah, No, we don't. I don't do traditional oil because, you know, this being a small room and like on a Saturday or, you know, the lessons following it, I might have students with COPD or like with Pauline with breathing problems, and I wouldn't want to put them in a situation where they couldn't breathe. So we've gone for the water soluble ones.
I thought you would have, but I thought, well, I'll just check one.
You still get a week or two to play with it, you know, if you wanted to, so it doesn't dry very quickly.
I forget what I put myself down. Jackie's got it down anyway.
Yeah, we've got you down. Oh, Rosemary's had her colours done. Oh, she said it was rubbish. The colours she was told to wear were not conducive to her sallow skin. So she goes a shade of green as well, depending on the colours that she puts on. Were you in on Wednesday this week? You were in on Wednesday,
Yes.
weren't you?
Yeah.
Oh, it must have been Friday. We were talking that portrait. I've slimmed her face down now.
You were saying you've got to do
Yeah,
some-
well, on Friday it's funny because Liz was saying, "Oh no, her ear's too big." So I showed her the photograph, and all Liz was saying was, "She's got massive ears. I just can't believe how big her ears." I was like, "All right, Liz."
Body positivity.
Yeah. So
It's
yeah, I
gone.
mean the photograph. She has in every photograph. She's got huge ears. I think that's why she had such big hair to hide them. Maybe I don't know. But yeah, I'm getting there with it. It's looking slightly more, but because I'm using oils, once I've done a bit, I have to leave it because I can't lean on it.
Are you doing it for your own interest or for something specific?
Oh no, this is a commission,
Oh, okay.
but I got a random email, I think, of someone asking if I could do it because it was difficult, and the difficulty is that it's a localish family, and their family business has been going for a long time, and in their boardroom they've got big oil paintings of like former board members or chairs of the board, and the one missing is the grandmother, and she said the only issue is she's no longer with us and she hated having a photograph taken. So we've got a decent one from the 1940s from when she was a teenager, and then we've got a few, and she sent me the few, and they are of her hiking, either with goggles on or one without goggles, but they're from the 1970s, so you know how the 70s photos has got that orange colour on everything. You know, it's got as it ages. So I started sketching it, and I said I'd do it because it's an interesting challenge for me. But I ended up aging her to look in her 70s or what have you. But then Jackie did some digging about her because we weren't given any information, but we did know her name. She died in 1974 in her 50s. So I've then had to make her younger. Jackie found a photo from her wedding online and a few other things. But again, her face is just tiny. So to try and get that accurate based on a 14-year-old's face and then some older faces, which would have been done not long before she passed away, it's really, really hard to even know anything about them. And she doesn't smile in any adult photograph apart from when she was married.
At least.
But I think if she was having an official portrait done, she would slightly smile. She's got a very masculine face. I can't show you on the screen because I think I had to throw the young person's face away because I've got it covered in paint. Now these are the two that I've blown up of her face. I mean, I've got no.
Oh, I see what you mean. They're not clear at all.
No,
are they?
because her face is literally that size in the photograph.
Oh yeah.
But you can see how big her ears are.
Yes.
I mean, they are huge.
Yeah.
And that's after they saw these, she kept saying, huge, they're huge. I said, I know, that's why I've drawn them huge. But I've got a kind of, I think I'm getting there now, but she had even bigger hair than I've put on. So I've got her face from when she was, 14 or 15
Yeah.
that I'm trying to work from. But it's not easy. Because she didn't look like that as she got older. I mean, that's the only decent photograph.
That's a good one of her, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
But she doesn't seem to look like that. Oh, that's a dog.
No.
There's just... She's got quite a big nose.
High
Big ears.
forehead.
High forehead. Really hard to get. And then this big hair. So that was
Where
there
is
when
she
she was
from?
younger. I think she's of German origin.
Yeah. She looks Jewish,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The big ears, the big nose.
Yeah. Yes.
She's beautiful in her own way, and I think the hair is the style of the time.
Yeah. I mean, even in the in the 40s she had that hair, and then in the 70s she had that hair. So it's
Yeah,
but
reminds
for me, even if I'm perfectly expecting when I'm finished her to go, no, it looks nothing like it. Do you know what? It's only cost me a canvas at the end of the day, and lots of hours. But it's a really interesting challenge to have hardly anything to work from.
Yeah.
Can I create? I probably can't create, but let's see.
You probably can put the photo online and someone can make it older for you.
Yeah, I did that with. I've done that with an app, but not overly successfully.
It isn't accurate.
No, you see that's her wedding photo, or when she was getting married. But
You
again,
can't see her very well.
you can't see that face. And then Jackie found. Another one. And that. See, that's her.
Again, you see it's very partial.
But
view,
she's
isn't
got
it?
very deep set eyes. I mean, that one you can't.
Yeah. It reminds me so much of photos I've seen of my family.
Oh,
Probably
really?
people the same age,
Yeah.
and the hair, the style.
Yeah.
And we also have big noses and big ears. So yeah.
It's 8 o'clock.
I'm going to leave the trees for some time.
So, do you want a drink or anything? Do you want a tea or coffee or?
I'm fine.
You're all right.
Yeah.
The next thing I'm going to do, so don't feel you've got to do it straight away, but obviously I've got to do it until 9 o'clock. I'm going to mix a purple shadow colour from ultramarine and cadmium red. And I'm going to do the darker sides of the building because it's a white building, and then I'll put the oh, come on, brain work. I'll put the beams on afterwards. and the shadows on the brick, so it's just a soft purple. Obviously the stronger you do the shadow, the stronger the sunlight is. So I might do a bit more with the shadow later on. Those beams look like they're sort of lime washed beams a little bit, don't they, on that building? They're not painted black. In my head they were black beams. But they're more like the ones that the old Robbins one has done. Yeah. I don't know if I like it.
But was the tradition to paint on top of them?
Sometimes, but they did it. I think they might have. I think they lime washed some of them, or they painted them black. They did both, because originally the one on the corner here was black beams, but then when it went and had their refurb, it went back to lime wash.
Yeah, I've seen it both ways, and so I don't know which one is the.
Because in my head I always think of these buildings with black, but then the black ones were often, it was yellow painted plaster, like Stokesay Castle's gatehouse. That's quite a cadmium yellow plaster with black beams, or really dark wooden beams.
Yeah, dark wood. Like Liberty in London.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. When I get to the reflection at the end, I'm going to make it blue and green rather than it's quite red, isn't it, that water? It's unusual. It's got very reddish tinges to it. Would you say that's an algae, Bill, or what do you think's making it go that brown colour?
All the flowers off that tree.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Did you see the canal a few years back when it went red?
No.
They put a dye in because there was a leak somewhere. It was really weird.
Oh.
Really dark red. I just think, I want to say green, but that's of course St Patrick's Day is when they do
The river's green, yes.
I think it was red. I remember being down by the museum and thinking, what on earth's going on with the canal? But it was, they've got a leak, and it was a way of finding out where it was.
Yeah, because they sometimes do fluorescent dyes or all sorts of things and then follow it through, don't they, to see where it comes out.
So that was weird.
Yeah,
So
that
we've
would
got
be weird.
A pale
Purple.
purple.
So ultramarine and cadmium red.
Right.
and as it dries you can intensify it to try and get the different layers. I'm almost certainly going to be using a bit of black or Payne's grey in the windows and archway, but I could put the archway in. See, that's dark and that's dark. That's dark. I'll put them in. I'll put the windows in a dark purple, which is just the same two colours, just more intensified. I don't. I like to try and not use Payne's grey. I like Payne's grey, but if I can do it with a purple, I feel happier. I don't know why. Be back in a sec. I think I'm hoping that the red brick and the sort of roof tones will really complement the green, you know, and give it that sort of tone. And then I'm going to have to do something. I've got a big hole in the middle of the picture where that bush is. I still haven't decided what I want to do. Bum, 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 bum. thinking about the beams, because they're kind of purpley brown, aren't they? So I wonder if I added burnt sienna to my purple. Bye, you and Clara. Bye. That's Lou gone for the day. She's really busy this month with prom dress alteration. I think she's got 17 booked in or something.
17.
Yeah. Proms were never a thing when I was at school.
Aren't they an American thing?
They are, I think, more than anything. I mean, we just got drunk in the park. We didn't do anything. I suppose it's nice, I suppose. It gives you some memories, doesn't it?
Yes, if you're not bullied.
Well, yes. Sadly, I was.
Exactly. I probably wouldn't have gone. I'm glad that there was no social media when I was in school.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
don't know how they survived today.
I think there's so much pressure on them. It's certainly... Yeah, I'm glad I did stuff that didn't make it to social media.
At least I was able to go home and forget, or at least stop thinking about it if I wanted to.
Yeah. I am going to have to do... Oh, do you know... do I do the reflection? I'm going to do the reflection of these beams in that bit, because that's going to go really dark under there, isn't it? This is the thing with watercolour, you can't really tell until the darks go in, can you? How's it going, Rosemary? Let's see if I can mix up the brick colour. Cadmium red, a bit of cadmium yellow and some burnt sienna. Seems to make... There's not a lot of red actually, because I've got rid of that Victorian building on the left, which I think is the stablery where that's where the National Trust shop is. I wanted to keep it authentic. And then I'll put a wash of shadow colour on this when it's dry. To cadmium yellow and a little bit of burnt sienna. If you put too much burnt sienna, basically you'll go back to where you started from, as I found out. It makes an alright brick colour, doesn't it, that?
Is that in the whole chimney, or is it a chimney with a shadow? How big's that chimney?
This one, it is a chimney with a shadow. It goes sort of right up to that beam there. I don't know why this is all bleached out here for some reason. Because my hand isn't, just the painting. That's really weird. But I'll put all the shadows on afterwards, I think. I know there's two little walls either side in the gatehouse that sort of are in the water, but they look more of the colour of the roof tiles rather than the red brick, don't they? They're more of a stone, I suppose. And I'm still ignoring that big bush in the middle. I'm going to end up doing it pink, I think, or something. I don't know.
I'm gonna do a pink. Why not?
Yeah, why not? I'll probably get everything else done, so I can't, because then I can, if I do the roof, then I know I won't match that colour up with that tree. I need to make it something totally different. Not going too badly so far. Rosemary says, "Oh, that's good." Because as you know, it all comes together in the last 30 seconds, doesn't it? Because that's when all the dark's in and it balances out. Because I'm going to do the water wet in wet, so that will mean even the bits of the reflection of the building will end up wobbling about, but that's all right. So don't panic if you see me colour mixing. I'm just trying to work out a roof colour. Oh, that's not. I may have found it. So if I do it this colour, then dry brush some purple onto it, that might work. This is, I've just basically added burnt sienna and a lot of ultramarine to the brick colour. So it's kind of more of a browny grey. I've got those beams to put on, and they're another different colour that's very similar to everything else. Making up more of my shadow colour because I'd run out. I'm going to let that dry. I might really strengthen the shadows on the overhangs and things, just to make it feel strong. That's what I was going to do with that colour, is those stone retaining walls. See, now I've got the roof of the gatehouse on, I need to darken the tree behind it a little bit, because it doesn't stand out enough for me. bit of yellow to my shadow colour to make it a bit duller, because it's a bit too purple. The roof, I use the brick colour for my chimney with a bit more burnt sienna and some ultramarine, and then I've tried to dry brush a little bit of purple colour on top of it. I'm just looking for shadows at the minute to see where they all need to go. That must be there must be beams there. Oh, I've got a white bit over there. That's the path, isn't it? Oh, I'll just do that in a sort of mucky colour, I suppose.
What do you use to get the dark?
The really dark tone, I actually mixed a lot of ultramarine with some cadmium red, and didn't dilute it very much.
Very dark purple.
Yeah, and if it's too purpley, you can add a little bit of yellow in there, and that just sort of offsets it slightly. But it's looking sunny, which is good. I'm not going to complicate the foreground. Not going to do anything to that. I'll let that dry for a second while I contemplate that tree, because I can't do any reflection or anything until that's in. I probably will end up doing it that colour ish. Could, I suppose, do a bit of dry brush green in the foreground just to get a bit of texture in it. I know I said I wasn't going to complicate it, but I think maybe it just feels like it's grass. Must be gouache next week then, if it's the second week of the month. Oh, it is. We're doing Barmouth Bridge at sunset. Nice. Soon be on the new booklet. Can't get away with this bush being really pale. This is just a mix of cadmium red, burnt sienna and a lot of water, but it is the right colour because it's disappearing into the the building. So I didn't really want it to do that. I suppose I could ramp up the shadow maybe to force the whatever it's called. My brain's not working tonight. The contrast, that's the word. Contrast, dear oh.
Maybe I do that all the time, but because I can't get the word in English.
Well, yeah, I've got no excuse.
Maybe for a moment you were speaking a different language.
English is my first language and I can't get the words out.
For a moment it wasn't.
Yeah, maybe. I'm learning Welsh, so let's pretend that. I don't even know what it is in Welsh, what contrast is.
That's a good excuse. Your brain was thinking well.
Yes, thank you. I'm glad you came this evening.
Even if you don't know the word yet, the brain was
I'm planning it, yes.
It was trying to get the word in Welsh.
Yeah, that was exactly it. It's calligraphy this week as well.
Yeah, I'm going to book. I have had a few rough years, and now
You're back.
yeah, I'm changing. I'm in between jobs,
Yeah.
It's like this is one of the perks of working in F1. I'm in gardening leave for 5 months.
Cool.
Because the secrets don't have to go to the other team. So they pay me to stay home.
Oh, I see.
I know too many secrets, and so they have to keep me away.
Sarah works for F1. Formula 1 stuff. Is it the cars you design? What is it you do?
Alpine.
Yeah.
We are doing okay-ish this year, but last year we did better. And for this car I've done front brakes.
Ooh.
The cooling of the front brakes.
Yeah.
Yep. And also a lot of wind tunnel testing. But now substantially I have already seen parts that are going to go on next year's car.
Oh, wow.
And that's the problem.
Oh, you know too much.
Yeah, I had 1 year notice, so I worked 7 months out of 12. But now I'm starting to know a bit too much of next year's car,
Yeah.
And so, because I've already worked 7 months, and to be honest, my mental health was suffering a lot. Because
Yeah, I bet.
I decided to leave. I had my reasons to leave. So I asked, and I'm home now for 5 months.
Okay. That's the best I'm going to do with that bush because it is merging in, which I'm annoyed about. But I've added some purple shadow in. I don't know. I threw in some red flowers while I was waiting for something to dry. I might add some white gouache flowers later on. I don't know. But I'm going to let it dry. And then I'll do the reflection, which will be all wet in wet. That tree is cadmium red with a bit of brown and a lot of water to get it looking pinkier. But it's still kind of merged in with the roof slightly. I could go back and make the roof darker, but I think I'm going to just leave it.
The only way to have pink is thread and a lot of water, right?
Yes, because it's your white paper that that makes it, yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting the same color as the roofs.
Yeah, keep adding more water to make it soft.
Not done the hedge yet.
No, I'm too scared. Well, I might play around with sort of this area here. The angle of the moat does mean that we won't see any sky, but I'm going to have to cheat because I definitely don't want to do it pink or red.
You've not done the rose stones, have you?
No, do you know what? I'm not going to.
No, I'm going to move mine out. It's 10 to 9.
Well, I'm just pretending that they weren't there when I took the photo. When we all sat outside with our sandwiches painting this house, it didn't have those bricks. It just didn't. I might just do a few darker green flicky uppy bits or something when the water's dry, you know, to make it look grassy or something. Because technically, if you're thinking of the composition, those sort of browny tones would lead the eye through the moat to the buildings, you know, because it follows through like that. I might stick one rock or something later on. But the reflection is tricky because I do not want it to be like the reflection in the photograph, because I don't like the pinkness. So I'm gonna stick a bit. I'm cheating massively. Wet it all first, and then just drop greens and things in. But you do have to be aware of where the building is, because the buildings are reflected as well. And that daft pink bush. thankfully I have still got some of the random colours on the palette that I used for this, but I'm not sure it's going to make a huge difference. It sort of looks reflective, but like it's possibly moving, which is good. I'll let that dry and do a couple of flicky uppy grassy bits. Oh, that helps. Because there are some irises on the far right, I think, on this side, but green grass and rushes and reeds are the way forward. I might need to darken my foreground grass a little bit, because it's a bit flat, isn't it? Just to help create that illusion of depth, because we've got a lot going on in this, which we've kind of simplified especially all the background trees, and I haven't bothered with certain buildings and stones. But we've kept what makes it identifiable as that place. Ish. Turn that come up lighter. Well, it kind of works. I need to change the angle of the water there, that reflection. I think that's about right, isn't it? I'm not sure why the that's better. Still bleaching out one part of it. That's so bizarre. I like gatehouses. I like the one at... Have you been to Stokesay Castle? Stokesay, that's like near towards Ludlow Way, I think. It's a lovely castle in itself, but it's got a very orangey yellow gatehouse. Look at that.
Wow, that's nice.
It's gorgeous, isn't it?
Mhm.
I can find another shot of it. Yeah, that's it from sort of the side, towards the back of the castle. There's a churchyard outside of the grounds to the left, and you've got that, and then you've got the beautiful place. I don't know. Stokesay Castle, one of the finest surviving fortified manor houses, 13th century, by Lawrence of Ludlow. That's English heritage, that one, Stokesay Castle.
You say near Ludlow?
Yeah, it's by Lawrence of Ludlow. Because I remember when I was about 6 or 7, we did Stokesay Castle and Ludlow Castle all in one day trip at school. Which was quite exciting. I remember a lot of walking, but Ludlow Castle didn't have an impact on me, but Stokesay Castle did with that gatehouse.
I should think so. It's beautiful.
Well, it's kind of worked. I'm at the point where if I fiddle now, I'll end up just outlining things, and I don't really want to do that.
I still haven't done the water.
The water's quite a fast thing because it's all wet in wet.
So I have to.
So you basically just wet the whole water and then just drop in colours. The colours don't really have to match.
The colours are the reflections. Right?
Yes, yeah. As long as they're similar and in a similar place, you can kind of fudge it.
Okay.
But they're just not. I didn't like the pink tinge to the edges in the photograph. You with us on Wednesday, Janet? Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
What are we doing?
What did you say, Farmer?
That's next Monday.
That's next Monday.
Drawing class. So, it's a skill builder on different types of water.
Oh, yes, first of the month. Yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah.
I'll try and do a different, like still moving, falling, of a bit of a variation on there.
Yeah, that's
Would have been useful today with the water.
Well, that's Wednesdays is in pencil, so it's trying to do reflection in pencil's hard because it's all grey.
So great.
We did a bluebell wood in pencil the other week on a Tuesday night, and that was hard because it didn't look like a bluebell wood. It was just like a wood. Because you can't tell the bluebells in it's grey. It's just some grey bits with some more grey bits. And some grey bits. I'll work you hard, less hard next week. Oh wait, if it's gouache, right, let's have a look what next week's looks like. If I got it saved. Not always a guarantee. Ooh. I might, yeah. Could do it on watercolour paper. I might find some red paper or something, because that's next week's.
Oh, wow.
So it is just Barmouth Bridge in silhouette.
Wow.
And you can just, so this is from the estuary side looking out to sea, because that'll be sort of Fairborn all along there.
Lovely colours.
It's gorgeous, isn't it?
Wouldn't need many, would it?
Well, no. There's a hint of purple, so I reckon. Well, it's gouache, isn't it? So it would be like black and white, cad red, cad yellow, and ultramarine. That'll be it. If we found it, if I give us all a coloured piece of card, then we'll need even less. Like a ready card or something, if I can find something. I don't know. Let me just add the yellow. I do like Barmouth. There's nothing quite like a Barmouth sunset. It is good. Does anybody want to see what theirs looks like on the camera? The magic camera.
It's a magic camera. Oh, I've missed a bit of green. Why isn't this?
But you can see the sort of process. See, if I was gonna fiddle and fiddle and fiddle, and I'd got hours of time, I'd add a bit of yellow and like yellowy gouache colour just to do a few brighter highlights on the background trees to emphasise the brightness. But you know, when you've got a 2-hour class, you've got to draw the line somewhere. Did you want to see yours, Janet? Of course you can. That's lovely, that. It's a bit constable-ish. Isn't it? Yeah, they do. I don't know why it's bleaching out that. It's doing the same on my house. It's bleaching that bit out because that's the brightest bit.
Oh, yeah.
That's really nice. Are you pleased with that?
I am, yeah. I usually mess up watercolours tremendously.
Oh, you haven't this time. That's good, that. Yeah. I want to do this in sort of, I don't know, maybe gouache or acrylics or something. I don't know.
It's a lovely place.
I really would recommend you go there
Yeah.
at some point. I mean, it's going to be a bit of a trek from here, isn't it? 'Cause
This is the problem, and now we don't drive so far.
no, it's a
the
long old
trains
way.
are
Oh, well.
running or not running or partly running. It's making life a bit complicated, shall we say?
It's saying, yeah, an hour and a half.
Driving. It depends really.
60 miles almost
Roads
exactly.
are Is it country roads or it's not motorway? Is it down the
No, it's not motorway. So
No.
you go sort of from Banbury, Ettington, Stratford, Inkbarrow. That's the way I went.
Oh, and the
the back of Worcester, Evesham sort of, and then it's in Bromyard, near Bromyard, Herefordshire.
No, that's a nice route. Liz used to live in Evesham.
Yeah, it is. It's the A44, A422.
I don't like motorways.
No. Well, anything where you go in left, you know,
Yes, yeah, I know what you mean.
westwards is less motorway-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the route I took. Part of the route I took yesterday.
No, that's a nice route. When we used to go down to Evesham, we used to go through what we used to go through, not Stratford Way. You could go Stratford Way,
Yes.
but the names are gone.
Should you go up and to the left towards Evesham?
And down that huge hill by the Broadway.
Broadway.
Got it in the end.
Broadway.
So the Broadway Tower and then that lovely long hill
Yeah,
down
see,
into
I've not
Broadway,
done that
so-
bit. But Brockhampton is really, really lovely. But it's just that it's quite, you know. I mean, 60 miles doesn't even sound that long, but it's an hour and a half. But if you take the back roads, I suppose you could make a whole day of it and stop off. And
I was going to say, if you go those pretty routes, you can stop off somewhere, can't you?
absolutely, there's plenty of space. But that's what I wanted to do because of it being 4 hours over the weekend.
Yes.
You know, you just think, if I need to stop, or if I just, you know, if there's an accident on the motorway, you're stuck for hours. But on the back roads, if there's an accident, you can just there's a quick deviation, isn't there?
I much prefer it because, yeah.
That is going to look fab, Bill.
Well,
So,
let's
It will.
work on that at home, aren't you?
yeah.
That's really
It's
nice.
been a long day, isn't it?
I'm thinking it wants to be twice as big.
Do you know what? I would, if I was to do this myself, I'd probably, because you can really fiddle with the leading on the windows, because it is leading. A big and a big old. In fact, down here I've got the almost A1 watercolour paper, and I've been I got this from one of the art places where, you know, there was a Hobbycraft in Bicester that closed, and then a small shop opened up that sold arts and craft, and that closed, and they phoned me just before they closed, and they said, do you want to pick anything up, and we'll give you like 80% discount.
Wow.
So there wasn't a lot left, but I picked up some big sheets of watercolour paper. I thought, for me, I'll do something big, and I don't know what to do big, because where do I put it? But that's something like that would be really quite nice. Big. Yeah, maybe I'll do that, because I mean I've been there, so it is nice to go.
Well, it's very tempting, I must admit. We could take the cleaners, share the driving and stop off.
I'm
Maybe day a bit.
trying out the painting for it. Half an hour.
No, it is beautiful. I mean, it's not a massive place. You've literally got, you can go in the house, and it's all like, it's like the big meeting hall kind of feel, and then you've got a few little bits around it. But Hereford's not very far away, and you've got quite a few things. Can I see yours on the screen, sorry?
It's the foreground is non-existent.
You've done that really lovely. It's nice and soft and gentle.
It's not finished.
No, but I think it's definitely got a lot of
Well, you've got the extra
potential.
building in the
Yeah,
school.
Yeah.
extra building because I traced them and
Yeah.
so it's like, what do I do?
Oh no, that's fine. That's nice. That's really lovely. You've got to be pleased with that.
Thank you.
Yeah, excellent. And you're back tomorrow afternoon?
Yeah. Now that I have the time, I want to do as much as I can.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm
That's
also
good.
Singing. I got a teacher. I'm singing. I'm learning to sing.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, because now I have some time, and so I started singing like a few weeks ago because I knew it was coming, and now I have time during the week, and so I want to.
Oh, that's excellent. That's good. So you're going to just be all creative.
Yes.
Do you still go to your song threads choir?
It hasn't regrouped after COVID, but I went to Patricia's workshop still. I went to one on Saturday.
Oh, lovely.
Because we're getting so rusty split it into beginners and
Yeah.
I said, oh, I'm coming along to the beginners, Patricia, because I said I'm so.
I was like that with
rusty.
salsa.
Yeah.
I
So
did.
a friend who was also part of Song Threads was telling me about the Milltown Singers.
Yes.
Who goes there?
They're quite a big group, aren't they, the Milltown
They are.
Singers?
But she said, come along and see what you think. So I might, because Patricia hasn't set up Song
Yeah.
Threads again.
No, I think Suzanne, who goes to the cafe, she's an ex-teacher, primary teacher, and she does the Milltown Singers as well. I think it is a big group.
I gathered that. So, but I'll give it a try.
Yeah,
and
well, it's
see.
worth seeing
'Cause
how you
I
go.
miss it. You know, I used to love it with
Yeah.
Patricia, and it was a nice small group.
Yeah,
So you got to know everybody really well. But,
yeah.
no, she hasn't set it up again.
Oh, that's a shame. There's quite a few things that haven't reformed. But we're only seeing now a few people coming back. I mean, 3 years nearly.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well,
Right, Rosemary, I will see what yours looks like later, so take care. Bye-bye.